Listen up. Life's going to throw every single roadblock, every ounce of pain, every shred of doubt right at your face. And it's not going to be gentle. It's going to be brutal. And it's going to push you to a breaking point. That's the point where most people give up, where they tap out and say, I can't do this. But here's the deal. If you give up on yourself, you're choosing comfort over greatness. And there is nothing easy about becoming something extraordinary. So ask yourself right now, who are you to you? Because if you're ready to quit, you got to dig deeper. Look around. Most people see struggles as some kind of bad luck, a curse, something to run from. They do everything they can to avoid it. But if you're serious about greatness, real, undeniable greatness, you need to start thinking differently. Every single struggle in your life is a weight being handed to you. And the choice is yours. Pick it up and grow, or let it crush you. But don't expect an easy path, because that's not how it works. Success, greatness, strength, all that comes through fire, through grinding. If you're sitting there wishing things were easy, then you're living in a dream world. Life's not going to hand you anything. You have to get in there and fight for it. And you do that by embracing the struggle, by letting it shape you, by allowing it to tear you down, build you back up over and over until you're something unrecognizable from the person who started out. Think about how muscles work. You don't build strength by sitting on a couch and wishing for bigger arms or a stronger back. You tear those muscles apart, break them down, and push them past what you thought was possible. Then, over time, they grow back stronger. That's what life is doing every time it throws hardship in your face. That's why struggle is a gift. Most people don't see it that way, though. They get handed a struggle, and they fold. They complain, look for the easy way out, or give up altogether. They never see that what they're being given is a chance to become stronger, to become someone who can handle the weight of greatness. But the truth is, if you're not willing to embrace the hard stuff, you'll never reach your full potential. When the world tries to break you, you've got to be willing to take the hit and come back even harder. Every struggle you face is like a weight in the gym, there to test you, to make you stronger, to see what you're made of. It's not there to defeat you, it's there to challenge you. And every time you face it head on, every time you don't give up, you're proving that you're capable of more than you thought possible. That's what most people don't get. They think strength is something you're born with, something you either have or don't have. But strength, real strength, is built. It's a decision. You decide to get back up. You decide to push through. You decide to look at your struggles and say, bring it on. Life isn't going to be gentle. It's going to test you in ways you can't even imagine. And those moments when you're standing there feeling the weight of everything coming down on you, when you're ready to break, that's when you have a choice. You can give in, or you can dig deeper, find something within yourself you didn't know was there, and push through. That's how you grow. That's how you become unbreakable. But it's a choice, a hard choice. And most people, they don't make it. They choose comfort. They choose the easy way out. They never learn what they're really capable of. But the few who do, the few who embrace struggle, who see it as a tool, a gift, a chance to grow, they're the ones who reach greatness. Don't ever run from struggle. Don't complain, don't make excuses, and don't look for a way out. Face it, take it on. Let it break you down, because only then can you build yourself back up stronger than before. And when you do, when you face struggle after struggle, when you've proven to yourself that you can handle anything life throws at you, you'll realize that you've become something different. You're not the same person you were when you started. You're stronger, tougher, more resilient. And that's something nobody can take from you. That's something you've earned, something you've built through sweat, pain, and a relentless refusal to give up. Most people will never understand this. They'll go their whole lives avoiding struggle, looking for comfort, for the path of least resistance, and they'll never know what they're truly capable of. They'll never know the strength that comes from facing their fears, from stepping into the fire, from pushing through when every fiber of their being is telling them to quit. But you don't have to be like them. You can choose to see struggle as the gift it is. You can choose to let it make you stronger. Because every struggle, every hardship, every setback is a chance to grow, a chance to prove to yourself that you're not done, that you're still in the fight. And that's what separates the strong from the weak, the driven from the comfortable. It's not about what you're born with. It's about what you're willing to fight for. It's about embracing the struggles, letting them build you up, and refusing to give in. So when life gets hard and you don't fold, you get stronger, you don't give up, you embrace the struggle, because that's the only way to become the person you were meant to be. Most people go through life waiting for someone else to believe in them, waiting for validation, for someone to tell them they're good enough, strong enough, or capable enough. They think that if they get a thumbs up from the world, that'll be all they need to get started, to chase their dreams, to become someone. But here's the truth, no one is coming. You're sitting around hoping for someone to say, yeah, you've got what it takes, but if that's what you're waiting for, you'll be waiting your whole life. The only belief that matters is the belief you have in yourself. And if you don't have it, if you don't believe you can push through the pain, the obstacles, the failures, you're finished before you even begin. Self-belief isn't some magic thing that just happens. You don't just wake up one day, look in the mirror and say, now I believe in myself. Self-belief is earned. It's built day after day, choice after choice, by showing up when nobody's watching, by doing the hard stuff when no one else is around to see it. Every time you push through the discomfort, every time you refuse to quit, that's another brick in the foundation of self-belief. And yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to hurt. You're going to have moments where doubt creeps in, where you question yourself, where you feel weak, unprepared, outmatched. But that's exactly where you find out what you're made of. That's where the real growth happens, where you're not just building strength, you're building a mind that can withstand anything. When you're standing alone in the storm and all you've got is yourself to rely on, that's when you learn what it means to believe in yourself. Anyone can say they believe in themselves when things are easy, when the sun is shining and everything's going their way. But that's not real belief. Real belief is forged in fire. It's built when things are falling apart. When you've got every reason to quit. When the odds are stacked so high against you that you can barely see a way forward. But you dig in anyway. You don't wait for someone else to tell you you're good enough, because you already know it. You know it because you've shown up for yourself every single time, no matter how tough it got. You've proven to yourself that you're not going to quit, that you're in this for the long haul, that you're willing to go further than anyone else. When you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter if anyone else does. You stop looking around for approval for someone to tell you that you're worthy, that you've got what it takes. You already know you do. Because you've built that belief layer by layer through every sacrifice, every moment of pain, every time you chose to keep going when everything in you wanted to stop. You're not looking for validation from anyone else because you don't need it. You know what you're capable of because you've proven it to yourself over and over again. And make no mistake, this isn't something you do once and forget about. Self-belief isn't a one-time thing, it's a daily commitment. Every day you've got to wake up and decide that you're going to believe in yourself, that you're going to push through the doubt, the fear, the pain. Because if you don't make that choice, if you don't choose to believe in yourself every single day, then the world's going to eat you alive. There are too many people out there waiting to tell you you can't do it, that you're not enough, that you should just give up. But when you believe in yourself, none of that matters. Their doubts, their opinions, there are limitations, they're irrelevant. You're not living for them, you're living for you, for the person you know you're capable of becoming. Self-belief is the foundation of everything. It's the thing that keeps you going when you've got nothing else left. It's what gets you out of bed at 4 a.m. when you're tired, sore, broken, when every part of you is screaming to stop. It's what makes you show up again and again, not for anyone else, but for you. Because at the end of the day, the only person you can count on, the only person who will always be there for you is you. If you don't believe in yourself, if you're waiting for someone else to give you permission, to tell you it's okay to chase your dreams, you'll never get anywhere. But if you make that commitment to yourself, if you decide once and for all that you're going to believe in yourself no matter what, then there's nothing that can stop you. So don't wait for the world to believe in you. Don't wait for someone to come along and hand you confidence on a silver platter. It doesn't work that way. You have to go out and earn it. every single day by showing up for yourself, by refusing to quit, by pushing through the pain and the doubt and the fear. You have to build that self-belief from the ground up by proving to yourself over and over again that you're in this fight, that you're not backing down, that you're going to see it through no matter what. Because at the end of the day, when it's just you and the battle ahead, self-belief is the only thing that will keep you standing. It's the foundation, the core, the thing that separates those who succeed from those who don't. Most people train their bodies, but they forget one of the most crucial things in life. You have to train your mind just as hard, if not harder. You can be in the best physical shape of your life, but if your mind is weak, it's game over. That mental toughness isn't something you're born with. You've got to earn it. You've got to build it by putting yourself through the fire again and again. Every day you've got to show up and make your mind stronger, more resilient, because life is going to test you in ways you can't even imagine. It's going to push you to the edge, beat you down, and see if you have what it takes to keep going. And if your mind isn't prepared, if it isn't sharp, disciplined, and ready, you'll fold. Training your mind is the foundation of everything else. When you feel like giving up, when you're exhausted, when you're filled with doubt, that's where the real battle begins. Most people think that physical strength is all it takes, that if they can just push a little harder physically, they'll make it. But they're wrong. The body can only take you so far. The mind is what gets you to the finish line. It's the mind that says, I don't care how tired you are, you're not done yet. Your mind is like a muscle. And if you're not working it, if you're not challenging it every day, it's weak. And weak minds don't survive when things get tough. Every day you have a choice to make. You can either give in to comfort or push yourself into discomfort. The problem is most people will do anything to avoid discomfort. They'll stay in their little bubble, never stepping outside, never facing their fears. But if you're serious about getting strong, about achieving something real, you have to make the choice to face discomfort. Every single day, you've got to put yourself in situations that challenge you, that force you to grow. You have to make the hard choices. You have to tell yourself that no matter how much it hurts, you're not giving up. Because that's where mental toughness is built. Not in comfort, but in struggle, in hardship, in refusing to quit. I think of it like this: every day you're either training your mind to be stronger or you're letting it get weaker. There's no middle ground. Every time you choose to quit, to give in, to take the easy way out, you're teaching your mind that it's okay to be weak. You're setting yourself up to fail when things get tough. But when you make the choice to keep going, when you refuse to let the pain, the exhaustion, the doubt control you, you're building a mind that can handle anything. You're teaching yourself that you can endure, that you're stronger than you thought, that you don't need anyone else's permission to keep pushing forward. Mental training isn't just about motivation, it's about discipline. Motivation is a joke. It's there 1 minute, gone the next. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. Discipline is what makes you get up at 4 a.m. to put in the work even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what makes you say, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to do what needs to be done. And the only way to build discipline is through repetition, by doing the hard stuff over and over until it becomes a part of who you are. Until you don't even think about it anymore, you just do it because you've trained your mind to push through. The mind is a battlefield, and every day you're at war with yourself. You're fighting against the voices that tell you to quit, that tell you you're not good enough, that say you can't do it. But if you've trained your mind, those voices don't stand a chance. You've put in the work, you've built up your resilience, and you know that no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it. Because you faced yourself in the mirror, you've looked your fears in the eye, and you said, not today. And that's what separates the people who succeed from the people who don't. Most people don't want to hear this. They want a shortcut, an easy way out. They think they can hack their way to success without putting in the work. But there are no hacks, no shortcuts. If you want to build mental toughness, you've got to put in the hours. You've got to show up every day, even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress. You've got to keep going, keep pushing, keep grinding. And over time, you'll start to notice a change. You'll start to see that things that used to break you don't even faze you anymore. You'll realize that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible because you've put in the work day after day to build a mind that can handle anything. So when you're out there, when you're facing the challenges, the obstacles, the things that make you want to quit, remember this: you've trained for this. You've put in the work. Your mind is strong enough to handle it. And if you keep going, if you keep pushing, there's nothing that can stop you, because you've built yourself up from the inside out. You've trained your mind to be relentless, to be disciplined, to never give up. And that's what will carry you through no matter what life throws your way. Most people are so focused on the easy wins, the quick fixes, that they miss the most important lesson out there. It's the setbacks, the failures, and the disappointments that are your real teachers. Everyone wants to hear about success, about victory. They want to see the polished, finished product. But nobody wants to talk about the struggle, the grinding, the ugly parts of the journey that are packed with failure. People shy away from it because it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good to face your failures. But guess what? Every time you fail, every single time you fall short, you're being given an opportunity. You're given a chance to look in the mirror, see what you're made of, and find out if you've got the guts to keep going. Failure isn't something to avoid. It's not something to hide from. Failure is what builds resilience, and resilience is what will get you through life when things get hard. Every setback, every moment where you're knocked down is a chance to test yourself. Most people think that failing means they're not good enough. They take it personally. They let it destroy their confidence, eat away at their self-belief. But that's because they're looking at failure all wrong. Failure is a gift, but only if you're willing to learn from it, to see it as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. You have to train yourself to see that every setback is an opportunity to come back stronger, to sharpen yourself, to figure out what went wrong, and how to make sure it doesn't happen again. When you fail, it's easy to throw in the towel, to say, I guess this isn't for me. But if you're serious about growth, if you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, then failure is just part of the process. Failure is your friend. It's there to push you, to test you, to see if you're really committed. People look at successful individuals and think they have it all figured out, that they're somehow immune to failure. But the truth is, the only difference between them and everyone else is that they didn't quit. They didn't let failure define them. They learned from it, adapted, and kept going. Every setback they faced only made them tougher, more prepared for the battles ahead. You can't just coast through life expecting things to fall into place. If you're not willing to fail, if you're not willing to risk it all, then you're not going to grow. Growth comes from pushing yourself to the edge, from putting yourself in situations where failure is a possibility. That's where you find out what you're made of. You're not going to learn anything if everything goes perfectly. It's the times when things go wrong, when you're struggling, when you're up against it, that you're really learning. You're figuring out how to adapt, how to pivot, how to take what's thrown at you and keep moving forward. When you look at failure this way, it becomes a weapon. It becomes a tool you can use to shape yourself, to build mental and physical strength, to go beyond your limits. You stop fearing it because you know that with every failure, you're getting closer to success. You're putting in the reps, you're gaining experience, you're learning what works and what doesn't. And with each failure, you're building a resilience that most people can't even understand. You're training yourself to keep going no matter what. And that's something no one can take away from you. Failure doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care how badly you want something or how hard you've worked. Failure is ruthless, and it's not personal. It's part of the process. The question is, how are you going to respond to it? Are you going to let it beat you, or are you going to get back up, dust yourself off, and go even harder? Because every time you do that, every time you come back stronger, you're proving to yourself that you're unstoppable. You're showing the world that you can't be broken, that no setback is big enough to make you quit. People are so afraid of looking like they don't have it all together. They're afraid of admitting that they failed, that they're struggling. But that's where growth happens. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when everything's going right. Growth happens in the struggle, in the pain, in the disappointment. So embrace it. Embrace the times when you fall short. when you're faced with failure. Those are the moments that define you. Those are the times when you find out if you're truly committed or if you're just in it for the easy wins. There's no shortcut here. You've got to face failure head on. You've got to accept that it's going to be part of your journey and that it's there to make you stronger. Because once you start seeing failure as a stepping stone, it stops being something to fear. It becomes part of the fuel that drives you, that pushes you to keep going, to keep grinding, to keep pushing past your limits. And when you do that, when you refuse to let failure hold you back, there's no limit to what you can achieve. You become unstoppable because you're not afraid of falling short. You know that every setback is just one more lesson, one more step toward the person you're meant to become. So don't hide from failure. Don't run from it. Face it, learn from it, and use it to make yourself better. Because every time you get back up after a setback, you're building something that no one can take away from you, a mind and a spirit that are unbreakable, a strength that isn't built in comfort, but in challenge and perseverance and relentless determination. That's how you grow. That's how you win. You need to understand that nobody's coming to save you. Not a single person. The world doesn't care about your dreams, your struggles, or your goals. It doesn't owe you anything. There's no backup plan, no safety net. That's hard to hear, but that's the truth. And until you understand that, you're never going to unlock your full potential. Most people sit around waiting for some magical moment, waiting for someone else to come along and give them a hand, a push, or a break. They're stuck in this idea that help is just around the corner, that someone will recognize their struggle and lift them out of it. But let me tell you, that day isn't coming. It's on you to stand up, face the brutal reality, and get to work. You want something? You want to become the best version of yourself? Then stop waiting and start doing. You have to be the hero of your own story because no one else will. Everyone around you is fighting their own battles, facing their own struggles. You think anyone's got the time to drop everything and focus on pulling you out of your rut? You think people owe you a better life just because you want it? Wake up. The only person who's going to make a change in your life is you. The only person who's going to drag you out of the mud, out of the darkness, out of your own doubts and fears is you. And that requires strength, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to grind every single day, even when it hurts, even when it feels pointless. People who sit around waiting for help are just wasting time. They're losing every second, every minute, while they hope and pray that someone else is going to lift them up. But that's not how success is built. Success is built on self-reliance, on getting up every time you fall, on facing yourself and taking responsibility. People like to blame others, blame their circumstances, blame their upbringing, blame the world for the fact that they're stuck. But every excuse, every blame game is just wasted time. And time is the most precious thing you have. You don't get a second of it back. And every moment you spend waiting for someone else is a moment you could be using to get better, to get stronger, to get closer to your goals. Here's the reality. If you want something, if you truly want to be better, you've got to be willing to go through the fire alone. You've got to be willing to push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Even when no one is watching, when no one is cheering you on. There are going to be days when you're exhausted, when the weight feels too heavy, when every part of you wants to quit. And in those moments, you have to find the strength within yourself to keep going. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to make it easier. It's on you to get up, push harder, and refuse to quit. Self-reliance is about accountability, about looking yourself in the mirror and owning every single decision you make. It's about recognizing that you are in control of your own life. If you fail, that's on you. If you succeed, that's also on you. And that's powerful because it means that no matter where you are, no matter how far behind you feel, you have the power to change it. You don't have to wait for someone to give you permission to tell you it's okay to go after what you want. You just have to decide right here, right now, that you're going to do whatever it takes, and then you do it. You don't complain, you don't look for shortcuts, and you don't expect anyone else to do it for you. The truth is, you're stronger than you think. You're capable of more than you believe. But you'll never know that strength if you're constantly looking outside yourself for validation, for support, for someone else to give you the green light. Self-reliance means trusting yourself, betting on yourself, even when it feels like the whole world is against you. It's about knowing that no matter how hard things get, no matter how many times you fall, you're going to get back up, because that's who you are. Because you don't need anyone else to save you. You have everything you need inside you. When you embrace self-reliance, you become unstoppable. You stop caring about who's there to help you, who's on your side, or who's cheering you on. All that matters is the path in front of you and your commitment to walk it no matter what. Every day you put in the work, every day you choose to stand on your own 2 feet, you're building a foundation that nobody can shake. And that's freedom. That's real strength. Because when you know you can rely on yourself, when you know you're capable of facing anything alone, there's nothing life can throw at you that you can't handle. So stop waiting. Stop hoping for someone else to come along and make things easier for you. Own your journey, embrace the struggle, and become the kind of person who doesn't need anyone else to succeed. That's not to say you don't appreciate help when it comes, but you don't depend on it. You don't need it. You're not waiting around for it. You're in control every single day, pushing forward, climbing higher, building a life that's yours and yours alone. And when you look back, when you see how far you've come, you'll know that every step, every struggle, every moment of doubt was worth it, because you did it. You found the strength within yourself. And that's something nobody can ever take away from you. Every time you get knocked down, you're faced with a choice. You can sit there, wallow in the defeat, give up, or you can get back up and start again. And let's be real here, most people don't get up. They stay down because it's easier. They want comfort, an excuse to stop pushing. But there's one thing they don't realize: every time you get up after a hit, you're building something unbreakable within yourself. People think resilience is something you're born with, something you either have or you don't. That's not true. Resilience is built, is crafted, forged through repeated failure, through the pain of pushing forward when everything inside you screams to stop. Resilience isn't about taking the hits, it's about how you respond. When you're knocked down, do you get bitter or do you get better? Most people look for sympathy, for a reason to stop trying. But the real warriors, the people who go the distance, they're the ones who see the fall as an opportunity to rise even stronger. When life slams you to the ground, it's not just testing your strength, it's testing your heart, your will. It's testing how bad you want it. Are you willing to get back up, dust yourself off, and go again? Or are you going to let one setback define you, beat you on you? The choice is yours. Resilience isn't just physical, it's mental. It's a decision you make every day to keep fighting, to keep grinding, even when you're tired, even when you're hurting. You see, anyone can show up when things are easy, when life's handing you wins and everything's going your way. But what about when the world turns against you? What about when the journey gets hard, the weight gets heavy, and the failures pile up? That's when resilience counts. That's when you separate yourself from the rest of the world that's just coasting, just existing, just going through the motions. Because resilience doesn't just happen in those moments of struggle. It's built in every choice you make, every time you refuse to quit, every time you stand back up after being knocked down. The truth is, resilience is rare. Most people don't want to go through what it takes to build it. They think they can avoid the pain, that they can sidestep the struggle and somehow still grow. But that's a lie. Growth doesn't happen without discomfort, without pushing yourself past what you thought was possible. Every setback is a training ground. It's your chance to get tougher, mentally sharper, to build a mind that won't break no matter how hard life hits. You're not going to learn resilience sitting in comfort, sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment. You learn it by getting in the ring, taking the hits, and coming back for more. That's where resilience is born, and that's where it's forged into something no one can take from you. Every person who's ever achieved something great has had to learn resilience. It's a universal truth. You don't get to the top without falling, without failing, without losing more times than you can count. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, isn't luck, it's resilience. It's that refusal to stay down, that hunger to keep going, to keep fighting no matter how many times you fall. You can't fake that. You can't pretend to have resilience. Either you get back up or you don't. And if you don't, that's where your story ends. But if you do, every time you rise, you're proving to yourself that you're unstoppable, that no setback is big enough to keep you from reaching your goals. Resilience is about living with the knowledge that every fall, every failure is just part of the process. It's about looking at each setback as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. When you train yourself to think like that, when you see every challenge as a chance to build yourself up, that's when you become truly powerful. No more fear, no more self-doubt. Because you know that no matter what happens, you've got the strength to get back up, to keep going, to never quit. People are so quick to say they're done after one failure, one rejection, but that's weakness talking. That's fear creeping in, convincing you that you can't handle the pain, that you're better off staying down. But when you choose resilience, when you decide to get back up, you're not just fighting for that one moment, you're building a future self that's stronger, tougher, and ready for anything. Every day you have the chance to build resilience. Every obstacle, every challenge is an invitation to get tougher, to grow stronger. And when you accept that challenge, when you embrace the struggle, you're creating a life that's defined by strength, by courage, by the refusal to back down. People want to live without hardship, without setbacks, but those are the very things that shape you. They make you into someone who can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and keep moving forward. That's what resilience gives you, a life that's yours, a life that's unshakable. So when you get knocked down, remember that resilience isn't built when things are easy. It's built in the grind, in the fight, in the darkest moments when you're face down on the ground. That's where you learn what you're made of. That's where you prove to yourself and to the world that you won't stay down. You'll get back up every single time, no matter what. And with each comeback, you're building a legacy of strength that nobody can take away from you. Success isn't about doing what you like. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Every person out there dreams of reaching some peak, of finding greatness, of achieving something extraordinary. But that dream stays a dream if you're only putting in the work when it's convenient, when it's comfortable, when it fits into your schedule. You don't get greatness on your terms. You earn it by grinding day in and day out, by showing up on the days when you're tired, beaten down, and every cell in your body is telling you to quit. That's where true character is built, when you push through despite every reason you have to stop. People talk about motivation, about feeling inspired. That's all good until it's gone, until that spark fades, and all you're left with is the daily grind. Because that's the truth. Most of the time, it's going to be hard, it's going to feel pointless, and it's going to demand more from you than you ever thought you could give. But that's exactly why so few people ever make it. They rely on motivation, on the high of the dream, but when reality hits and the struggle shows up, they back down, they give themselves a pass, and they settle. That's why you have to build something stronger than motivation. You have to build discipline, and you have to commit to doing what needs to be done, no matter how you feel about it. When you choose to act in spite of discomfort, you're tapping into something powerful. Most people don't understand this. They live by their moods, by the highs and lows of their emotions. They're productive when they feel good, but as soon as things get tough, they check out. They tell themselves they'll come back to it later, that they just need a break, that they'll be more focused tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, because that mindset becomes a habit. Every time you give yourself permission to quit, you're teaching yourself that it's okay to back down, that it's okay to avoid the work. That's the fastest way to fail. The people who make it to the top are the ones who have made up their minds that feelings don't matter. Pain, exhaustion, doubt, none of it changes what they have to do. They wake up every day with the same commitment, the same goal, and they go after it with everything they've got. They're not concerned with how they feel in the moment. They're focused on what needs to be done, and they don't leave any room for excuses. That's where real strength comes from, not from motivation, not from inspiration, but from a relentless drive to do what's necessary, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the discomfort. Ask yourself, are you willing to push through the pain, to face the grind, to put in the work even when there's no end in sight? Most people won't. They'll do the work when it's easy, when it's convenient, but that doesn't lead to greatness. Greatness requires a level of commitment that most people aren't willing to give. It requires you to show up every single day, no matter what. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and a will that's stronger than any excuse, any reason you could come up with to quit. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The dreamers like the idea of success, but the achievers, the real warriors, they're the ones who get up and do the work day after day, regardless of what they're feeling. Discipline is about finding your limit and pushing past it. It's about going beyond what's comfortable, beyond what you thought you could handle, and proving to yourself that you're stronger than any doubt, any fear, any momentary weakness. It's about choosing to be the kind of person who shows up, who pushes forward, who keeps going no matter how rough the path gets. When you live like that, when you make a habit of doing what needs to be done, even when it's hard, you're building something unbreakable within yourself. You're building resilience, toughness, and a foundation that no amount of failure, no amount of struggle can take away from you. It's easy to talk about success, to dream about greatness, but dreams mean nothing without action. And action, real action, is messy, it's painful, it's relentless, it's a grind that tests every fiber of your being, that asks you to dig deeper than you ever thought you could. It's about doing the work, not just when it's fun, not just when it feels good, but on the days when everything is stacked against you. Because that's what it takes. Success doesn't care about your excuses, your reasons for holding back. It's only interested in the results, in the work you put in when no one's watching, when it's just you against your doubts, your fears, your exhaustion. That's where greatness is forged, in those moments when you choose discipline over comfort. So if you want to achieve something real, if you want to reach a level that few people ever touch, you have to let go of the idea that success is supposed to be easy. You have to embrace the grind, the struggle, the days when you want to quit, and push through anyway. You have to commit to doing the work, not just today, not just when you feel like it, but every single day, no matter what. That's how you separate yourself from the crowd. That's how you build a life that's defined by strength, by resilience, by a relentless pursuit of greatness that no obstacle, no setback, and no amount of discomfort can ever take away from you. In the end, the journey of never giving up on yourself is a path paved with relentless determination, unwavering discipline, and the fierce resolve to rise above every challenge. You see, life will test you, it will push you to your limits and force you to confront your deepest fears and doubts. But each moment of struggle is an opportunity for growth. It's in these challenging times that you discover who you truly are, the strength that lies within you, and your capacity to endure and overcome. Embrace the notion that you are your greatest champion. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. You need to train your mind to see failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. When you encounter obstacles, don't back down or shy away. Instead, view them as necessary experiences that forge your character and resilience. Each challenge is a chance to dig deep, to test your limits, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. The mindset of unwavering commitment is what will set you apart. While others may succumb to the allure of comfort and convenience, you'll be the one who pushes through the pain, who takes the hard road, and who continues to show up every day. This is where discipline comes into play, doing what needs to be done, regardless of your feelings or circumstances. It's about developing the mental toughness to act, even when the fire or motivation dims. You're not waiting for inspiration to strike, you're creating your own momentum, building the habits that will carry you forward. Remember, success is not just an outcome, it's a way of life, a relentless pursuit. It's about the grind, the hustle, and the consistent effort to better yourself. Each day you choose to rise above your doubts and fears, you reinforce the foundation of resilience that will carry you through the toughest times. You're building a legacy of perseverance that inspires not only yourself, but also those around you. Your journey becomes a testament to the power of grit and determination. Ultimately, the essence of never giving up on yourself lies in the belief that you are worthy of success, that your dreams are attainable, and that every struggle you face is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. The world is filled with challenges, but within you lies the power to overcome them. Embrace the grind, commit to the work, and never back down. Your story is still being written, and you have the pen in your hand. Every time you refuse to quit, you're taking control of your narrative, crafting a story of resilience, strength, and triumph. So stand tall, be relentless, and remember that the only way to fail is to give up on yourself. Embrace your journey, fight for your dreams, and no matter how hard it gets, keep pushing forward. Because the truth is, greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone willing to put in the work, face the struggles, and refuse to give up on themselves. Keep moving forward, keep believing in yourself, and let your journey be an inspiration to all who encounter it.